welcome back to my channel. My name is Suggs and I am a writer, and in today's video I have for you the 4 stages of writing. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so I had the idea for this video because I noticed that when I was writing my last novel, there were certain things that I was doing when I was in one stage and I wasn't doing it with the other, and I started beating myself up over it, and then I realized, oh, there's nothing to worry about. It's just the name of the game, right? It's just what happens when you're in different stages of life, just like when you're in different seasons, right? You can't expect it to be summer when it's winter, and so everything has its place. So I thought if I was going through this and starting to feel a little guilty about certain things I wasn't doing when I was doing something else, I thought that maybe you guys would feel the same. So let me first explain to you the 4 stages of writing as I see it. So the first stage is the pre-planning stage, the second stage is the writing, the third is the editing, and the fourth is the marketing. So this is not to say that these don't intertwine and that you can't do one when you're doing the other, but basically these are the 4 stages that you can do, that you should be doing when you're writing. And when you're writing a book, that you shouldn't feel guilty if you're not doing others. So let me explain. The very first stage is the pre-planning stage. And this is when you're going to outline your novel. This is when you're going to build your world, create your characters. You're going to select the POV, and you're basically going to create a theme for your book. You're going to really understand what your book is going to feel like, what it's going to look like, and what kind of this all goes into your world building, of course. But remember, if you're writing like a fantasy novel, let's say, you know, Court of Thorn and Roses has a very different feel than Cinder, right? So they're both fantasies, but they have a different feel. So this is when you're going to start understanding your novel. The second stage you're going to be doing is the actual writing stage. And this is when you write your first draft, maybe your second and your third, but this is when you're in it, right? You're writing. And this is what I mean, that maybe when you're writing, you're going to intertwine the first stage, right? Because when you're writing your novel and you start really getting into it, you start understanding your world a little better. You start understanding your characters a little better. So then you go back to the pre-planning stage and maybe correct some of those things that you've written about your characters or your world building. But you could either add or delete, you know, what you've written. Maybe you wrote, initially you wrote a character in a certain way, and as you started writing, that character kind of evolved and they're no longer the way you first wrote them. So then you go back and you change it. So the third stage is the editing stage, my least favorite. I hate this stage, but it's a very necessary step that you cannot get away from. So what happens in the editing stage is you self-edit. Of course, you go through the entire novel, making sure everything's, you know, pretty tight, even though it never is when you self-edit, because you know the novel. So when you're reading, you may not see mistakes that other people see, but you should still self-edit before you hand it over to, in my opinion, the first person is your critique partner. They have an objective look on the novel. They don't know really much about it, so they can see things that you haven't been able to see. So once you get it back from your critique partner, you go back to edit it yourself, and then you send it to your beta, then you send it to the professional editor, and then you give it a once over again, and then you give it back to your professional editor to make sure that it's tight and perfect, no matter how, no matter if you're doing the querying, you know, sending it to trying to get traditionally published, or if you are self-publishing, you should definitely send it to your professional editor twice and make sure that it's, you know, as good as it's going to get, right? And then the final stage is the marketing. So this is again one that you should be probably doing when you are in the, you know, in the pre-planning stage and the writing and the editing and all this stuff, because you don't wait till you're done writing your novel to to build your platform, your author platform. However, I have noticed that when I am in the writing stage, I don't do a lot of marketing because I'm so involved in my book and so into it that I may, make a post here and there. Oh my God, I'm so excited about my novel, or just created a world, that I really love, or whatever, but I'm not as, infatuated with like marketing my book because it's not done and I'm in the middle of writing and I'm enjoying that more. But that's what I was meaning by I started to feel guilty about, oh my God, I'm not really, sharing a lot of myself right now. I'm not really building my platform because I'm writing a novel, but that's okay. As long as you're doing it, as long as you're actively doing it, you're good. So under marketing, the things that you should be doing are obviously networking, which includes collaborations and interviews. And also you need to start thinking about a street team, which is people who are going to promote your novel. Then you're also going to think about doing a book tour, whether it's virtual or in person. You could do book signings. There's a lot that goes into marketing your book, right? So the 4 stages are pre-planning, writing, editing, and marketing. And when you're done with that novel, then you rinse and repeat and you do it all over again with your next novel. So yeah, you guys, I mean, you just it's an ongoing thing, but I thought, I would just give you a little boost if you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm like in the middle of editing right now and I'm not writing anything. It's okay, you're editing, and that takes a lot of work. When I am editing, it's like I said before, it's my least favorite stage of the whole process, but it's a very necessary step, which I can't skip. But I do miss writing when I'm in the editing phase, and for me that takes the longest to do that. So when you're writing. When you're editing, don't feel bad about anything else. Just stay focused, stay positive, and enjoy whatever step you're in. So let me know below which is your favorite stage. I think mine, aside from writing, it's actually the pre-planning stage. That first, when you're starting to build the world and trying to create your characters, and that first draft. I know a lot of people don't like that first draft. That's my favorite. That very initial, when I get the idea and then I start like building the world and the characters, and that first draft is absolutely my favorite. So let me know below which is your favorite stage. And that's it. I hope this was helpful for you. Remember that I am here every Sunday and every Thursday with content just like this. I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my community. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, as it does help me rank a little higher in YouTube, and it helps me continue to do this for you guys. Well, that is it, you guys. Until next time, stay safe.